Can the Odyssey move from mere metaphor to physical reality? Does the Odyssey by Homer contain vital, encoded, astronomical information? Is the full solar eclipse of April 16th, 1178 BCE at 12:02 p.m. and the 29 days of the phases of the moon leading up to said eclipse encoded into Book 20, verses 345 through 394? Let us assume that there is a possibility that astronomical encoding may have taken place with planned intent. Is the Vision of Theoclymenus describing a solar eclipse as well as the prophecy of the suitors approaching death? Did Homer purposely and brilliantly weave together the symbol of the moon as the ego of man, covering the brilliance of the sun of the higher consciousness and his humanity, when he has his character, Odysseus, murder his wife's suitors? Was the murder of the suitors a momentary eclipse of the humanity of Odysseus based on his lower wolf-like nature? Listen as I read from the Odyssey. Pallas Athene now provoked the suitors to uncontrollable laughter at the words of Telemachus and addled their wits. They laughed with strained expressions as blood spattered their food and their eyes filled with tears. They seemed to themselves to be grieving. Then it was that godlike Theoclymenus who called out, "O you luckless men, what evil is this you suffer? From head to toe you are shrouded in darkness. The sound of weeping rises and your cheeks are bathed in tears, while the walls and paneling are soaked with blood. And the porch and the court are filled with ghosts, the ghosts hurrying to Erebus by night. The sun has vanished from the sky, and a foul mist blankets all." The whole crowd roared with delight at his words, and Eurymachus, the son of Polybus, spoke out, "Our new arrival overseas is mad. Quick, boys, pack him off to the gathering place outside, since he finds it so dark in here." Herein is the eclipse of April 16th, 1178 BCE over Ithaca, Greece, possibly described. Compare actual events describing a solar eclipse and the metaphor. Actual events that take place during a full solar eclipse. From head to toe, you are shrouded in darkness. The sun has vanished from the sky, and a foul mist blankets all. Pack him off to the gathering place outside, since he finds it so dark in here. Metaphor of the moon momentarily blocking out the sun. Man's ego, the moon, momentarily blocks out his higher humanity, the sun. The sound of weeping rises and your cheeks are bathed in tears, while the walls and paneling are soaked with blood, and the porch and the court are filled with ghosts, ghosts hurrying to Erebus by night. Heraclitus, circa 535 BC, believed that the prophecy of Theoclymenus in Book 20 is a poetic description of a solar eclipse. Plutarch, circa 46 AD, believed that the prophecy of Theoclymenus in Book 20 is a poetic description of a total solar eclipse. In the late 1920s, astronomers Carl Schock and Paul Neugebauer computed that the solar eclipse of April 16, 1178 BCE was a total solar eclipse over the Ionian Islands. Said solar eclipse as viewed via Voyager 4.5, a sky chart. The Sun and Moon converge in the constellation of Taurus at 4:20 a.m. before the eclipse. Nearly a century later, in 2008, the question resounds, is an eclipse described in the Odyssey? Ask Magnasco and Bicausis. In 2012, Peter Gainsford dogs Magnasco and Bicausis. Unlike Carl Schock's 1926 argument, which came to the same conclusion, the new argument cannot be dismissed on the basis of the passage's context. Bicausis and Magnasco require several other tacit assumptions, however, and many of these may be rejected with great confidence. In 2017, yet another three scientists, Guglielmino, Cipollone, and Giudice, collaborate and write another scholarly article entitled Astronomy in the Odyssey, the Status Questionaris. The three scientists in their scholarly article give two important clues on how to shore up the supporting evidence in favor of the Odyssey by Homer being encoded with astronomical information. April Vihilidal follows their scholarly advice. Now, in 2021, April Vihilidal moves the research forward by following the clues provided in Astronomy in the Odyssey, the Status Questionaris. Clue 1. Match every phase of the moon for 29 days with the verses in the Odyssey exactly, morning, afternoon, evening. Clue 2. Provide linguistic analysis evidence of the Greek compound words, nouns, Luca Bavtok, which can mean both directing wolf man and first new moon, thus connecting Odysseus with the new moon. If Heraclitus, Plutarch, and the others are correct, and it is an eclipse, then all of these other things follow, and A. Vihilidal can demonstrate that the 29 phases of the moon, culminating in said eclipse, can be noted as being purposeful astronomical encoding into the Odyssey by Homer. The research by April Vihilidal continues with all of the scholarly articles up to date and adds hitherto unknown research data that allows for an answer in the affirmative. Yes, the Odyssey by Homer is encoded with vital astronomical information as indicative of the literature as to its time and place on Earth in relationship to the stars in the night sky during the point of origin of said literature. So what? Why is April Vihilidal's research important? Firstly, Vihilidal's research and findings both suggest and demonstrate that the astronomers of 3,000 years ago were more advanced than has been given credit to them previously. Secondly, Vihilidal's research and findings both suggest and demonstrate that the bards, the transmitter of oral knowledge, and the transmission process of oral knowledge from over a 3,000-year period is more accurate than previously accepted. Thirdly, Vihilidal's research and findings both suggest and demonstrate that Homer, or the Homer Collective, wrote the verses of the Odyssey to synchronize precisely with one complete moon phase, using the full solar eclipse as the culminating point of the said moon cycle, so that it is both an anchor for astronomers and a grand finale for literary aficionados, past and present. View Vihilidal's full-length 1-hour YouTube. Visit sphinxvihilidal.blog. Please visit April Vihilidal's website and view her YouTube film to further understand the supporting evidence that the Odyssey by Homer is encoded with astronomical information. Thank you for connecting the dots with April Vihilidal, like the astronomers of yore.